guys, welcome back to another video. If you guys are new to this channel, then welcome. Be sure to subscribe because why not? It's always fun, it's always good vibes. Join the fam bam. I'm super excited to film this video for you guys. I wanted to do like a sit down hot topic Q&A kind of thing because I've been getting a lot of questions on TikTok. Y'all are crazy on TikTok. I actually really love my community on there. Love my YouTube community too. And then I think my Instagram community is just all so very different. The fan base and like the people, my followers and my community and like the people that I engage with on each platform is all so different. I just love that. I get a lot of questions on TikTok, and then when I see that I'm getting a lot of questions, like the similar questions on Instagram, I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to do a little Q&A, hot topic kind of sit down video because I haven't done one of these in actually a really long time. So I was like, you know, why not? So let's get right into today's video. I actually have a few questions here that I want to go through with y'all. That's Luna. Get used to it. Clearly she's feeling better. All right, so these questions are really interesting because I feel like I got a little bit of everything. Like I got real questions, not just like your corny typical are you single questions, you know, but obviously I did get that question, are you single? And the reason why I want to address this is because the next question after that is dating in the modern age. What are your thoughts on dating apps and online dating? So I am single. The dating in today's age, let's talk about it, y'all, because I talk about this a lot on TikTok. If you don't follow me, go follow me on TikTok. Honestly, dating in this day and age is actually not fun. It's not fun at all. I hate when people say there's plenty of fish in the sea. I don't know what sea y'all in, but this sea is like the Jordan River. I mean, we dry here. Ain't shit going on over here, okay? And I think the modern day and age has changed drastically because men and the stigma of monogamy is not applauded anymore. A guy that is like so committed to his woman, is building with her, is faithful to her, like that's not applauded as a guy that's like such a good looking guy and loves the attention from multiple different women, entertaining multiple girls in his DMs, liking all these damn pictures, victimizing himself and his actions and making excuses for his actions, and then like wondering why the girl is not giving him the type of, you know, love and support that he needs. Well, because we're not feeling secure in our relationship. So I feel like this modern day and age really applauds guys that are just like out here, you know, in these streets living their best life, and not committing to one person. And also, you know, it's just the dating dynamics have changed drastically, but it's really sad, honestly. And we'll get to the dynamics and the different dating dynamics because that was one of the questions that I got, which is why I love these base questions. But my thoughts on dating apps, I would say I'm actually on a dating app and I registered a few years ago, and I think I did talk about this, how I was really against it in the beginning, only because I thought it was a little strange and I didn't want to meet somebody virtually. But yo, bro, what's up with you? I do think that it's really important to have some sort of a platform or some way for you to meet new people and engage with new people. And it doesn't, I feel like the concept of a dating app is like, that's what makes people feel uncomfortable, but we're just there to catch a vibe. Like that should be the new app, like catch a vibe. You know what I'm saying? And I want money if anybody creates that before I create it. But honestly, it's just like, I think if you eliminate the pressure of meeting somebody that is like gonna be your husband and propose to you the next day, then I think people would ease into it a little bit more. And once I changed that dynamic and my perspective of a dating app, and I'm like, look, I'm not here to like get married tomorrow. I'm here to just catch a vibe, meet somebody new and build a friendship. Or maybe I meet somebody that also loves to create content and we get to collaborate and partner and like support each other. So I think that's the beautiful thing of it. And when you just put it in that perspective, it eliminates all that awkwardness. But I am on a dating app. I don't actually it's like I don't actually entertain anything that's going on there, which sort of sucks, but it's not on purpose. I just don't have the time. And then I've had a few dates. I would say I've had two really good dates on there. They didn't go anywhere, but I built great friendships. And yeah, so I'm not opposed to it at all. I think it's kind of cool. What's the next question? Oh wow, how do you stay empowered and confident in a male-dominated society? Wow, that was a pretty great question. I thought that was deep, yo. Y'all be coming with some deep. Not only is it a male-dominated society, but I'm also in the real estate industry. I actually heard, and I don't know the actual fact on it, but I'm pretty sure that I heard that real estate industry actually started for a woman. But there's a lot of men in real estate, and there's a lot of men that are builders, not a lot of women builders. I'm actually striving to solely become a builder and developer and break barriers. And Luna, how do I stay confident in a male-dominated industry? I think it's just really being secure in who you are and knowing that we're not here to compete with the opposite sex. I don't want to compete with you. I want to build with you, and I think that we should live in a world where we can all live together and it doesn't have to be stigmatized. I just know that I am confident within who I am, and I try to focus on what I could do to feed myself and to pour into myself. But you can't let that stigmatize you and limit your ability to grow. I try not to focus on male-dominated industry and race. I don't ignore it, and I'm not oblivious that these things don't exist, but I don't let that define who I am and where I'm going. So that's my answer to you, boo. Let's see, how do you set and achieve your goals? That's pretty interesting topic. And I think this came because I posted that I was hosting a women in business mastermind brunch, which is so freaking awesome. And I encourage you guys, if I could give you guys a piece of advice, it'd be to build a community of like-minded individuals. Really, I feel like we're at an age now where we can't BS. We need to just be secure in the people that we're surrounding ourselves with, like who is our close circle. And remember that you are who you surround yourself with. So I'm really adamant on giving people my energy that I feel are pouring valuable things to me, and I'm just blocking everything else out. So build a community, and a really powerful community. And I totally derailed, but how do I set my goals? I build a community of mentors, coaches, people that can hold me accountable, friends that I can build with. Like I'm kind of like the annoying friend that's like, oh my god guys, I just thought of this business idea, we should totally like collaborate and see how we could do it. If I find a friend of mine that is like has that like ability to achieve that particular thing that I want to do, I'm gonna think about that person, be like, yo, you got this talent, you're really good at this, why don't we do this? I just thought about this is a great opportunity for the both of us, let's hop on it. I feel like if we can't build together, then what are we really doing? But that's how I do it. I try to do, there's also different like tracking methods that I have and goal trackers and things that I do use to kind of hold me accountable. But build your community, start networking with coaches, and I can refer coaches to you, life coaches, business coaches, real estate coaches, I mean the whole nine. So let's see, can you share a funny date experience? The only one that could really come to mind is someone that I met that I actually didn't even get to meet, but there was someone that asked me to go on a date and was like, hey, let's meet here. He was from the city and I'm in Jersey. And I already hate when a guy makes a woman come to him. Like, that is such a turn off. And let me give you a piece of advice. Some women may not care about it, but I do. Some women may see it as like, nah, I want to pull up, I don't want him to know where I live, or listen, he don't have to pick me up in my crib. You could pick me up somewhere else in a discreet location that doesn't like where I feel safe. But like for me, I like to be courted. I like a gentleman, and I feel like you should be picking me up. You shouldn't be asking me to come to you. That's just me. He asked me to meet him in the city. I hate driving into the city, which is such an inconvenience. So I feel like he wasn't being considerate of that. But then he said he didn't want to come to Jersey because it was an inconvenience for him. So it's an inconvenience for you, but you want me to go to New York? I'm so confused. It was like no compromise immediately. So I was already had a little bad taste in my mouth, and then it gets better. Then he's like, oh, I'm gonna take the train to the restaurant. That required like multiple different trains and all this stuff. It was so far. And I was just like, look, I'm sorry, but I'm not doing that. Like, I can take the train to this location and you can pay for my Uber to get to the restaurant, which would have been like 10 bucks or something like that. And he flat out was like, I'm not paying for your Uber. Like, I don't have money like that. I still have to save some money for dinner, and I still need to save money to get home. And I just was like, I mean, I get it if you're not in a position to do that, but then you shouldn't be in a position to go out on a date anyway. And y'all could take that how you want, but like if you can't make sure that a woman is getting to the date safely and getting back home safely, it's just like beyond me. Like, you're not considering me, you're not considering my safety, and honestly, it was such a fucking turnoff. And yeah, so I completely declined the date and blocked this guy and never spoke to him again. That was that. I would say, I don't know about a funny date experience, but that was pretty cringe. Let's see. Ooh, okay. How did you achieve financial independence as a young woman? Okay. I've always had multiple different jobs, and in the beginning when I started my career, I was bartending, I was nannying. I've always had like some type of family that I've connected with or stayed in connection with. So I built a tremendous relationship with multiple families. I've always hustled, and I've always done 1099s, and I've figured out ways to leverage in different ways. I'm not financially free, but I'm definitely working towards financial freedom, and I'm always looking for ways to invest my money, because we're so quick to buy something like a purse or a pair of shoes or makeup or dinner and spend like hundreds of dollars on a meal with your girlfriends, and you don't think about the fact that we're spending on this so effortlessly and we are not getting any return. There's like guaranteed no return on your investment, but we're always so hesitant to invest in something that's like a piece of asset, and you're like, oh my god, but like it's so much money, or will I make my money back? Like, especially when it comes to real estate, you're like, you know, 95% guaranteed to get your money back, because property values are always increasing. Majority of the time you're always building equity, and you know what, it's still a return on your investment versus you buying a piece of steak for like $100 that you're never gonna get back. It may be a really good Wagyu piece of steak, but you ain't gonna get nothing out of it. So I feel like you should strive to have at least 6 to 7 streams of income. And if you can net 50,000 like minimum from each of them, you're doing significantly well. And that's on the low side, to be honest. I try to strive for higher than that. Like, my goals are very different from everyone else's, but I just know that there's a lifestyle in which I want to maintain for myself and for my family. And if I'm not able to do that, then, you know, I need to reevaluate myself and my goals and where I am financially. But I think just finding things that you're really good at and always trying to learn a skill, listening to podcasts, reading books, educating yourself, try to do the best that you can to learn a new skill. I mean, we as young folks and in this generation, we have access to so much information that it's not even funny. And then you think about content creators, you think about TikTokers, you think about all this social media stuff that people have been able to leverage tremendously and earn millions of dollars at it. It's like, there's no way that we can fail. This goes to myself too. It's just like, I can't take failure and then like just be like, oh well, that's it, I done failed. Like, there's gonna be multiple times where I hit a bump in the road, or I fail, or something doesn't work, and it's just a matter of switching that out, figuring out what went wrong, learn from it, and grow. And that's pretty much it. How do you manage a positive body image in a world obsessed with unrealistic beauty standards? Wow. This is really interesting because I'm actually going to get my breasts done, and I'm talking about that journey. I'm not doing that because I want to fit in with everybody. I'm doing it because I need a breast reduction, and this is my second one. Maybe my first one was with health, but also because I was really insecure about the sagginess of my breasts. But now it's not focused so much on that. It's focused really on like how I feel, and I just can't do these jumbo ginormous mangoes anymore. So I'm just like, you know what, I'm out. I do think that social media plays a really big role in the image standards that we are always exposed to. It could make us feel insecure, but honestly, I try not to think about it in that way, because if I see a bad bitch, I'm just like, dang. But it's all about me and how I feel, not about how I want to look for someone else or how I want to be a part of that. Like, look, I try not to compare myself with anybody. I think I'm super motivated with these like fit girls on Instagram and the girls that are like trainers and getting their body right, because I am a huge advocate for that. But I'm also not judging on surgery either. Like, do whatever floats your boat. What you do doesn't affect me. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, and don't feel encouraged to be this image. As long as you are healthy and you're eating the things that you should be eating to consume in your body, to take care of your body. So I would just say be mindful of that. Ooh, what are your red flags or non-negotiables in a relationship when finding a compatible? One red flag is if you have a relationship with your ex. I know some will say that I'm a hypocrite because I was co-parenting with my ex, but I think it's very different. If I was ever in a relationship where I started something, I would not have my ex co-parent my dog anymore. And we really don't really co-parent anyway. But if we communicate about the dog, it's simply that. I think keeping in contact with your ex, I think just being an attention whore, somebody that's like so into like getting all of these girls' attention, you just desperately feed off that energy. You want to be the guy that every girl is just like completely obsessed with. That to me is like a complete turn off. I don't want a guy that wants the attention from every other girl. Like I want a guy that is so confident with his woman and knowing like damn, like that's my woman, like that's the one that's helping me build, that's the one that I'm helping her build, and we're coming together and we're just creating something so beautiful. We're building memories, we're traveling, we're making money at the same time. Like that to me is so far much more beautiful than somebody that just wants to be with multiple different girls, who's a liar, who's a deceiver. Baby, if you can't commit to me, you ain't gonna get the best of me, and that's just it. You heard. I would say those are some red flags. Like somebody that's always out in the street, staying out late, partying in the clubs, like that shit ain't a vibe for me. I've really grown out of that. If I want to go out sometimes, like, or go out for a brunch, you better catch me early because I go to sleep at 8 o'clock. So your girl ain't chilling nowhere. And another non-negotiable would be like a man that lives with his parents. I cannot deal with that. If you live with your parents, I am so sorry, but I gotta go because you're not staying at my house. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a non-negotiable. And also, I feel like the whole close to the family thing is like really cool, but there's like a fine line with the whole family thing. I feel like there should be a boundary, and you shouldn't be like revolving your decisions as an adult shouldn't be revolving around your parents, because I feel like when your parents are really involved in a relationship, it could almost be smothering to the point where you just don't make decisions on your own, and that is just not a turn on, it's a turn off. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, those are some of my non-negotiables. That was a great question. How do you deal with conflict and disagreement in a relationship? Honestly, this is what I learned a lot about in my last relationship. It's like our communication was terrible. I was the type of person that wanted to talk about it right there and then, and he was the type of person that just like really never wanted to talk about it. There was no time that was a good time to talk about it. He just would prefer to forget about it, sweep it under the rug, until I did something again that he didn't like, that upset him or that was upsetting, and then we fought again about it. So that's why you have to address things. I'm not saying that you have to address it right there and then. I learned about love languages, and sometimes people need time. They're not the type of people where you need to confront right away and say, we need to work this out now. And that's how you implement like the 24-hour rule and things like that. Dealing with conflict, you really need to understand your partner. And I'm a firm believer, you guys, that if you want a relationship to work, any relationship can work if the two people want to make it work. I don't think that there's like a perfect person for that one individual. I think you're gonna fight and you're gonna put in the work for the person that you love and that you want to build with, and that's just the fact. But how you deal with conflict is important to understand each other and how you're both receptive to things, like being understanding that if I don't want to talk about it right now, it's okay, let's talk about it later, or vice versa. Like just trying to find ways to communicate with each other, I think is really powerful. Communication is key, you guys. And a marriage counselor once told me that within the first 3 years that a couple has gotten married, the first 3 years, like the third year is typically, people typically divorce at the 3rd year mark because of lack of communication. So it's something that you really didn't even have to get a divorce, and you didn't have to go that far, unless if it's obviously that you couldn't work out. But some people just go to the divorce route because they feel like it's not working, but in reality it was just really communication, and that could have been dealt with. So it's actually quite interesting. Ooh, how do you approach the topic of finances within a relationship? Thoughts on joint bank accounts, financial transparency, and financial independence? That's a good one. So my ex and I were getting married. We were like planning to get married. So like, you know, it was very different, and our dynamic in the relationship was very different. His money was my money was his money, and that's just the fact. And that's how it was. We still had separate bank accounts, and then one that we would utilize together, but it didn't make a difference because the way that we worked was that all of our money was our money. But I think it's great to have your bank account, his bank account, and a joint bank account. I think that's awesome. You both have different jobs. Like, you don't have to be entitled to his money. That was just the relationship that me and my ex had, and it worked great. It worked effortlessly. So I'm fine with that. And I think financial independence is beautiful in a relationship. I think you should definitely, I mean, I'm okay with a man taking care of me. I never want to feel like I have to work because the man that I'm with can't take care of me. Like, I don't want to feel like that. but I do want to feel like, hey, you know what, let me willingly help this household and manage this household. Let me pay a light bill, let me make sure there's food in the fridge, let me make sure like the things are taken care of. But I never want to feel like I have to give you half of the rent because, or half of the mortgage, because if not, this isn't 50. Like, I don't operate like that. I'm a little bit old school and traditional with that kind of concept. Like, I don't want to feel like we're roommates. Or I might just be like, yo babe, I done paid for the mortgage for the next 6 months, so we good, you know, because that's the type of bitch I am. Or I don't pay for the rent the next 6 months, so we good. I would do that wholeheartedly because it's what I wanted to do, but I never want to feel like yo, you gotta go to work today because girl, we gotta pay the rent, you gotta make sure you have your half. Like, nah, never in my life, never. Do you believe there is a perfect match for everyone? Well, I just answered that topic, and I think that there's no perfect person, but I do think that if you find someone, and honestly, in this generation, people are giving up on relationships left and right. Relationships are not easy. I don't know who the hell told you guys that they're easy. Even when you get married, people think like, oh my God, I'm married when I walk down the aisle. You think about this big, beautiful wedding. No, you're married when you go through the biggest trial and tribulation in your marriage, and you decide to stick it through and work at it really hard to make it work. Like, that's the test of your marriage. That's when you really, that's the first day that you become married. But I don't think there's a perfect person for everyone or a specific person for everyone, but I do think that if you love each other enough and you embrace each other wholeheartedly and you have the same commonalities, or most, you can make it work. But no relationship is perfect, no dynamic is perfect, so it's really just depending on the two people that want to make it work because they love each other and they see it long term. Oh, I'm about to end this with a spicy one. What are your thoughts on sneaky links? Okay. What are my thoughts on sneaky links? Let me think about it. Well. I think that a sneaky link is okay. I'm not opposed to having somebody that can satisfy your sexual desire or meet that need, but I also am a firm believer that I can make myself. So I don't really need a guy to do that, and I don't need the intimacy aspect of it when it's meaningless. I feel like if it's that, then I'd rather just not do it because I don't need you for that. I can make myself. If it's meaningless, it's kind of pointless. It's a waste of you being inside me when you don't deserve to be inside me. I'm actually really guarded with myself and really overprotective over my body and who I give my body to, so I am not out here in these streets. I've been with one person in the past 3 years that I was in a relationship, that I wasn't in a relationship, so that can tell you a lot about myself. And it's not because I can't, because I can go through my handy dandy notebook, or I could go through my DMs and be like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, what's up, boo? But it's gonna do a disservice. It's nothing for me, and I feel like I value myself so much so that to have me intimately and to have my mind is just such a blessing. If you're not appreciative towards that, or you're just not worthy of that, I'm not gonna give it to you. So I don't know, if it happens, it happens, and if it's cool and amicable and like it just works, it works. But the moment you're on some bullshit, I'm just like, you're whack, it's out. And also, if you're like with multiple people, like that's such a turn off to me. Like, I'm not going to give myself intimately to you. So I don't really care about the sneaky links. Some people do. I'm not really a fan of it. I'm not in a phase in my life where I need that. I'm more of like a home, stability, building, and all that. So I feel like that's maybe for other people that are not really ready to settle down in that dynamic. So I don't know, that's my take. That is all for today's video and my little hot topic Q&A. I thought that was actually pretty good. I got some really deep questions this time. The last time I feel like it was a lot more spicy, and I wanted to just change this dynamic. That's why I was like, yo, TikTok, like y'all out here. And it wasn't only TikTok. I got a few questions from Instagram, but majority of them did come from TikTok. So shout out to y'all, because y'all was asking me so many great questions and really like deep. So we got deep today, and I really enjoyed having this little sit down with you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next video.